Thank you, folks. 7.2 then, so
Yes.
correspondence from the Department of Health. Alison?
Yes, Chair, thank you. Members may already be aware of some of the detail of this, Chair. It was issued to us yesterday, and the reason it's on your agenda this evening is the deadline, as you have seen, for initial responses is next Tuesday, the 16th of June. And this really is the Minister's proposals around the rebuilding of health and social care services. So appendant to the letter, Chair, is the proposed, there's a memorandum, which is a temporary amendment of the Health and Social Care Framework document for the period from June 20 to May 2022, and the suggested terms of reference, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Deehan?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Alison, for your report, and I want to propose that we note this correspondence. However, I will comment that this is a very lengthy document. It is a very complex document. It is also a vital document because it sets out how we move forward in terms of new normal ways of working. And it involves a lot of collaboration between primary, secondary care and community care. And what I would like to propose, I regret the very short timeline for response, and I think that at this stage, unless anyone has any serious concerns, we should accept the document in good faith. But what I would like to propose is that we should make this a specific agenda item for the next meeting of our Health and Social Care group, and that maybe we should try to have a meeting of that group as soon as possible, because the issues in relation to health and social care provision are changing so rapidly that and the changes are so important for this district that we need to ensure that they're addressed as quickly as possible. Unless we can get an extraordinary meeting to discuss this paper between now and Tuesday, then I think we have little option but to note it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Deehan. I think we are meeting again in July from memory. Yeah, so next meeting scheduled for July every quarter. Councillor O'Coffey?
I'm thankful for you letting me come in, because I have a fairly diametrically opposed position to that of the last speaker. I took time to really read this twice today, and it's one of the most scary documents that I've ever seen issued around healthcare reform. The department is the language used. It sets it in the context of a devastating impact on programs and projects, and it seems to me that the COVID crisis is being used as an excuse, really, to achieve all the cutbacks and reforms that that they have failed to achieve because of opposition from people trying to defend local health services. They're proposing to establish a new quango alongside all the others, Management Board for Rebuilding HSC Services, another quango to take forward a program of reform. I note in particular they're changing the department's own powers to allow it to provide to take decisions without consultation. On the top of page 6, it says, where the department's of an opinion that because of the urgency of the matter, it is necessary to act without consultation. So the former requirement on departments to actually consult communities, those affected over decisions, it will go out the window with this document. And I'm very concerned that there is some degree of consultation around framework documents, but when it comes to closing down services or rationalization, there is no consultation. And then when you look all the way through the document, it's peppered with references to embedding innovation and transformation. These are great words, but usually the great words mean the opposite. It means innovation and transformation is taking services out of rural areas, prioritizing services, prioritizing as in some will be deprioritized. And then in terms of embedding innovations that have emerged during the pandemic. Now, there may be innovations that's quite good that have emerged during the pandemic, but there's also probably drastic cuts to services that they may be able to effectively get away with. So there's nothing in here about rural proofing. There's nothing in here about access for rural communities to services. I believe that this is a charter over the next 2 years for the department to run down our local health services, and I'm hugely concerned by it.
Okay, thank you. Your comments there is noted, and I've no doubt you'll definitely articulate them in the Health and Social Care Group once we get round to that in July. Councillor Swift.
Yeah, Goramagat Cahirlock. Well, I appreciate and understand the previous two speakers, their opinions, and I'm so inclined to suggest that I thought Donald was going to make a proposal there in halting the allowance of proceeding without consultation. Because as he has already articulated, those words about reform usually mean cuts, etc., and innovation usually means the opposite for us. So I wouldn't be content or satisfied. And we must remember as well, our Western Health and Social Care Trust meeting aren't the people who are responsible for, the board, and we've had that discussion, you remember, Stephen, at the last meeting. So, it would be kind of a futile and pointless exercise waiting until July to speak to them, because obviously this decision is taken at departmental level. So I propose, and hopefully Donald will second what, everything he was suggesting there, then, that we just say, no way, Jose, to this suggestion, because we have to protect our services in the West. And if Seamus Green was still online, I know he would be supporting the same. We can't be allowing the running down of our rural services, and particularly in this COVID time of all the complex and varied needs that there will be. Mental health, we just can't allow this to go ahead. So propose then that we write back and saying we are not accepting this as a process. Goramagat.
Thank you, Bernice. And Donald, I'll allow you very briefly to come in if you wish to second that. Very briefly.
I got carried away, upset over it. I didn't even propose what I wanted to do, which is exactly what Bernice has done. So thank you, Bernice.
Excellent. Thank you, folks. Okay, Councillor McAleer.
Yeah, second that, but I'm definitely supported. I think the three things that have been identified there: the transformation or removal of services, the introduction of another quango, which the health service is on its knees due in a principal way to the amount of quangos that we already have. And thirdly, this idea that the department can see fit to bring in, without consultation, measures that it sees fit. The three of these things, we have to meet these head on. So fully supportive of the last two speakers, and possibly when Councillor Deehan gets a chance to read through the document, I would imagine she might be on board as well. Thank you.
Brilliant. Okay, Councillor Keenan, I have next. Hands down, thanks. Councillor Deehan, Councillor Anthony Feely.
Thanks for hearing. Now, just in case Seamus can't come in in support of all the people in the rural areas too. I was going to back Bernice, or stop, not back. Second, Bernice is there, but myself and Donald has it done. Just support the people in the rural areas. Okay, Stephen.
Okay, brilliant. Councillor Deehan, you're making a return here in this matter.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Well, I fully appreciate the concerns that have been raised by previous speakers. The fact of the matter is, though, that this is not meant to be a consultation document. I mean, the response time is next Tuesday, and we simply do not have time to make a formal response to it. We certainly can express our reservations, but one thing that we mustn't do is we mustn't do anything as a council that would jeopardise anything that would delay the return to normal services. And there is widespread acceptance within the medical profession that, we are going to have to establish a new normal way of working. Now, prior to the COVID centre, we had many, many areas that were urgently in need of reforming. And indeed, there was a transformation agenda and many initiatives to look at better ways of doing things. This document is imperfect. It does contain a number of threats to rural practices. One of the reasons I was suggesting that we bring forward the meeting of the Health and Social Care Group and have even as a single item agenda is to discuss this in detail so that we can consider some proposals to the department. but desperate situations require desperate measures. And it was for that reason that, given the situation we're in, that I am proposing that we note this correspondence, that at this stage we accept we are where we are until we have a time to consider the document and the implications and make a considered response. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Deehan. Councillor Catherine Kelly.
Yes, Stevie, congratulations and good luck in your role. I just, in regards to the Quango, it's not a Quango. It is, it's the department, it's members of the BSO, it's members of different people in the department who are going to make up this new management board. Now, that's not to say that this is not a troubling development. It is a very troubling development, not least because the permanent secretary, Richard Pengelly, is deciding health policy for my community, a community he's probably never visited in his life. The other part of it is that it's going to be health policy is going to be guided by experts. And the problem around that is that we could end up with a situation like SAGE, where there's no transparency and these experts aren't named and advised. So there are a lot of problems with this. Dr. Josephine's right, it's not a consultation document, but it's incorrect to say that it's a new Quango. As far as I know, it's not a new Quango. It is a management board with department heads from the HSC and headed by Richard Pengelly.
Okay, so Catherine, you can keep me right here. I sense you're along the same thinking generally as Councillor Deehan to be a second to note that document then, so am I correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Maguire?
Well, I have to say that like every rural councillor or rural politician, when we hear about reform and improvement to anything, it usually doesn't bode well for us out in Fermanagh. I heard a reflection on the reforms on the radio the other day. If you bear with me, Chair, just to reiterate what was said, it will indicate my sentiments entirely. The reporter indicated that most politicians are in support of reform of the health service, but once it comes to the closure of a hospital in their area, it will change the political landscape.
Slightly wandering off point, Tommy.
Sorry, the point being, Stephen, is that I too, like Bernice and Donald, would be very, very sceptical of any reforms of the health, again, with our rural area being the most important thing for us as local politicians.
Absolutely. Gormagat, Councillor McGeer. Okay, Councillor Thompson.
Thank you very much, Chair. Interesting debate. I'm prepared to support Councillor Deehan's proposal. It's a quite a long document and it's very complex in its nature, but I think we need to study it and give a proper appraisal of it. So I'm prepared to support Councillor Deehan's proposal.
Thank you. Thank you. So we're going to move to a resolution here, move to the way forward. Councillor Deehan has proposed, seconded by Councillor Catherine Kelly, that we note this document. Are we all in agreement?
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed.
Agreed. Okay, we're moving on. Thank you.
No.
Okay, I'll seek guidance. I'll seek guidance from the Chief Executive. I did say we'd move on there. There's an ample opportunity for you to comment there. Sorry, apologise. Sorry, yeah.
There's a second proposal.
There's a second proposal. That's correct, Emmett. Yeah, I'm just being advised of that. There is indeed. There is indeed. Okay, so we'll move to Councillor Deehan's proposal to note first of all. Oh, sorry, apologise. Apologise. Yes, of course. Yeah. Okay. So Councillor Swift's proposal, seconded by Councillor O'Coffey, I believe. Are we in agreement with that?
No.
Okay, so we're not in agreement. Simple as that. Just a reminder, folks, can you lower your hands there, please? There's a number of hands.
Can I get a recorded vote on this?
Recorded vote, yeah, no problem. Okay.
Sorry, Chair, for clarification, what is the specific proposal that Donald and Bernice have made? I'm minded to agree with the noting of this document, but to be vigilant as we go forward. If I could get clarification what the proposal was, please, Chair.
Okay, no problem. If I just invite Councillor Swift to just outline her proposal again there, please.
Yes, well, really, and Tommy has sort of already said it, and it is about being concerned, aware, and vigilant about, I suppose, the veiled language that's held within that document. And I appreciate what Josephine has said too, and obviously we always listen to what Josephine has to say coming from her expert background. But I do have the concerns that Donal has outlined too. So really, I had wished to contact the department again on this issue, and we definitely require further time to consider it. So it's not that I disagree with what Josephine has said about noting it either. I don't want to cause a big argument, but we're a rural area and we need to be very concerned. Guramagat.
Okay, thank you, Bernice. So we're going to take your proposal first. Just going to run through the names here for a recorded vote. So if you listen for your name there, please, and we'll try and get through it as quickly as we can. So Councillor Diana Armstrong.
Thank you, Chair. This is Bernice's.
This is Bernice's.
Proposal.
Yes.
Against.
Councillor Baird.
Against, Chair.
Councillor Blake.
For.
Councillor Mark Buchanan.
Against, Chair.
Councillor Glenn Campbell. Councillor Sean Clark. Sean isn't here. Councillor John Coyle.
Against.
Councillor Siobhan Corrie.
Against.
Councillor Josephine Deehan.
Against, Chair.
Councillor Anne-Marie Donnelly.
Against.
Councillor Sean Donnelly.
Against.
Councillor Stephen Donnelly.
For.
Councillor Keith Elliott.
Against.
Councillor Deborah Erskine.
Against.
Councillor Anthony Feely. Anthony. I'll come back to you, Anthony, if you're having problems getting in. I'll come back to you, okay? Councillor Anne-Marie Fitzgerald.
Against.
Councillor Adam Gannon.
Against.
Mary Garrity.
Against, Chair.
Councillor Seamus Green. Are we here? Seamus here? No. Okay. Councillor Robert Irvine.
Against, Chair.
Councillor Eamon Keenan.
For.
Okay. Councillor Catherine Kelly.
Against.
Padraig Kelly.
Against, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Tommy Maguire.
Against, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Emmett McAleer.
I'm in favour of that. Some interesting voting.
Councillor Chris McCaffrey.
Aye. Against.
Councillor Stephen McCann against. Councillor John McClary.
Against.
Councillor Barry Michael Duff.
And I against.
Councillor Garvin McPhillips.
Against, Chair.
Councillor Donal O'Coffey.
I'm for defending health services.
Thank you. Councillor Thomas O'Reilly.
Against.
Councillor Alan Rainey. Do we have you there, Alan? I'll come back to you if you can hear me there, Alan. I'll come back to you in a few seconds. Councillor Paul Robinson.
Against.
Councillor Chris Smith.
Against.
Councillor Bernice Swift.
For my proposal.
Thank you. Councillor Earl Thompson.
Against.
Councillor Howard Thornton.
Against, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Victor Warrington.
Against.
And Councillor Bert Wilson.
Against.
Thank you. I'll go back here to Councillor Anthony Feely. Anthony?
Hello, Steve. Steve, I'm having fierce problems here, Steve. I can't get in right here at the minute, you know? Can you hear me there right now?
I can hear you clearly, yeah.
Yeah, so, no, I'll have to go against that, Steve.
Thank you, Anthony. That's perfect. And Councillor, that's fine, Anthony. That'll do. And Councillor Alan Rainey, do we have you there now? I'll take guidance from the group leader there as to what way to proceed. Councillor Warrington.
Councillor Rainey will be voting against.
Probably can't.
No, wouldn't. I'm not accepting
okay.
that.
Do we have Councillor Rainey?
Chair, can I write into the chat function? Would that be a possibility? Just on one other night?
He's actually there and his mic seems to be off.
Just to say, Chair, for a recorded vote, I think the member formally has to. I don't think we can take a chat for a formally recorded vote.
Fair enough. Okay. I'll take it then. So I'll note that Councillor Rainey is absent then. So. Okay. So we're going to move on there. Go ahead.
Stevie, just I'm not sure that it was covered just in the initial proposal to note, but it does state in that letter that given the grave situation at the bottom of page 2, they're looking for soundings on the proposed amendments. I would like to propose that we do, as a council, apologies Stevie, but that we do actually let them know that we're not happy.
Siobhan, I'll come back to you in a wee second. We're going to deal with this particular proposal first, if you're happy enough, just to get this done. We've took that vote, so if I can get this put to bed first, if you're happy, and then I'll let you back in just to outline that. Okay, I'll just invite Alison just to comment on that vote.
There's Councillor Rainey now, Chair.
Can we accept that?
We haven't announced, so if you wish, Chair.
That's grand. Councillor Rainey, we're looking for your indication on this particular motion, for or against.
I was against it on my opinion.
No problem. No problem. That's good.
Altogether.
No problem. Okay, so there is a number of IT issues as well, which we're picking up on. So we're going to have a look at that as well at some stage. Okay, so Alison, I'd like you to come in there.
So, Chair, we had 6 members for, 32 members against, so that proposal falls.
Okay, Councillor Corey.
Margaret, Stevie, and to Bronorum, I was a bit quick just jumping in there, but it does say that they are seeking an initial time limited taking of soundings. You know, I'm not happy that they've given us a week to do this. I think it's a disgrace, but I do appreciate the situation we're finding ourselves in. So can I propose that we do write back and indicate, you know, some of the matters have been well covered there, what we're not happy with, and put those forward as our soundings from this council. Gormagat, thank you.
Chair, point of order, please.
Just bear with me, Donald. We do have a second proposal currently on the table from Councillor Deehan, seconded by Councillor Kelly. I'm going to have to deal with that one as well before we can take any other proposals. Councillor Curry, okay. So yours is on the table at the moment. Are we in agreement with Councillor Deehan's proposal that we note this document?
Yes. No. Chair, on behalf of the Democratic Unionist Party, agreed.
Is there dissension out there?
Would you mind if I just come in a second?
Briefly, Josephine.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Chair, I mean, I did preface my remarks that, you know, this is a document which is an emergency document in my view. And I mean, I did say that we need time to discuss this, and the forum for discussing it is in the Health and Social Care group. And I did say that, you know, that it should be an agenda item, even as a single item agenda at the earliest opportunity. And following on from that discussion, that we should write back to the department with our views on this, because I am in agreement with members who voice concern regarding the impact that any of these changes potentially could have on rural healthcare, not least of which is the provision of GP services in this area, which are very much at risk. So I'm very invested in this process, but I do feel that change is necessary. And for anyone who saw Spotlight last night, they will see that the way the health service is operating at present leaves patients very much exposed. We urgently need to change the way we do things. So I think the minister needs that support from us at this time, but we're not accepting everything carte blanche. So we're noting this correspondence with a view to having a detailed discussion and comments back to the department when we've had that discussion.
Okay, thank you for that, Josephine.
There simply isn't time.
Okay, thank you for that. Folks, can I just ask you if you don't intend to speak on this, and I do plan to move on fairly shortly. There's a number of hands remaining up, I'm told here. So if you don't intend to speak, please take down your hand there now. I'm going to allow in, there's a couple of speakers have been in already in this. You aren't getting in twice, folks. I'm going to allow Councillor Swift here briefly.
I'll be very quick, Stephen, and really Siobhan's after coming in and proposing what really I'd already outlined, and the reason why I had said it wasn't appropriate to bring it back to the Social Care Trust meeting was at our last meeting they had said that wasn't the appropriate place to discuss departmental matters, so it was on that knowledge alone that I was avoiding that as a route, because as I said, it would be futile. So I don't want this to escalate into anything divisionary, like other proposals, and it's unfortunate that it's taken up a bit of time. But certainly what Siobhan's after saying is no different from what I have outlined, and I am disappointed with that vote already, if that's the case. And if I haven't been clear, well, by gosh, it'll have to go into writing in future. Gormagat.
Thank you. I've got 4 speakers left: Councillor Catherine Kelly, Siobhan Curry, Tommy Maguire, and Barry Michael Duff. After that, folks, we're moving on. Councillor Kelly. Hands down. Councillor Siobhan Curry.
So I'm sorry, I don't need to speak on it again.
Okay. Councillor Curry. Siobhan. Siobhan's hands down. Councillor Maguire. Hands down. Councillor Barry Michael Duff.
Sorry, Chair.
Okay, thank
you. Go ahead, Barry. Go ahead there, Barry. Barry, you're on mute there if you're looking to come in.
Okay, am I okay now? Can you hear me now?
Go ahead, yep.
Okay, thanks very much. Chair, I would like to ask Councillor Curry in relation to her proposed letter to the Department of Health if we could specifically include the following: that we emphasise the defence and further building of acute services at the Southwest Acute Hospital in Enniskillen, that we also emphasise the need to build services at the Omagh Hospital and Primary Care Complex, and that we invest in our GP services as a matter of priority. Those suggestions, proposals, that the Department of Health be left in no doubt about our intentions in this area, the southern sector of the Western Thrust, to protect and develop our services.
Thanks, Barry. Okay, that's Barry Michael Duff there. We're going to move on, folks. Here, Siobhan, see in light of the commentary from Councillor Deehan and Councillor Michael Duff, etc., do you want to restate your position on the proposal, or are we happy to endorse what we have on the table already?
Stevie, Gormagat, I think we should. I fully accept what Dr. Dean saying there, but it's a way away, and they are looking for some kind. They're giving us the opportunity, let's put it like that, to respond with initial soundings by next Tuesday, and I would like to formally propose that, and I'm very, very happy to take on board what Councillor McElduff and indeed Councillor Swift has said in it.
Okay, can I take a seconder for your proposal, Councillor Curry?
Anthony here.
Anthony seconded that. Okay, so that remains 2 proposals. Sorry, folks, that remains. There's still 2 proposals on the table: Councillor Deehan's and Councillor Curry's. I'm going to deal with Councillor Deehan's first in order they were made. Are we in agreement? And that is to note the documentation.
No.
Okay, we aren't in agreement. Okay.
Chair.
Okay, so there's dissension there. I'm going to run through very quickly, folks, just again. Preferences here. So starting off with Councillor Armstrong.
Councillor Deaton's proposal, I agree. Again, I'm for it.
Okay. Just bear with me a second there, Councillor Armstrong. I'll just get a fresh sheet. Thanks. Okay, so you're for Councillor Armstrong. Councillor Baird.
For.
Councillor Paul Blake.
For.
Councillor Mark Buchanan.
For.
Councillor Glenn Campbell.
For.
Councillor Sean Clark. Not here. Councillor John Coyle.
For.
Councillor Siobhan Curry.
An aye against.
Councillor Josephine Deehan.
For.
Councillor Anne-Marie Donnelly.
For.
Councillor Sean Donnelly.
For.
Councillor Stephen Donnelly.
For.
Councillor Keith Elliott.
For.
Councillor Deborah Erskine.
For.
Councillor Anthony Feely. Anthony. Anthony, I'll come back to you. Councillor Anne-Marie Fitzgerald.
Against.
Councillor Adam Gannon.
For.
Councillor Mary Garrity.
For, Chair.
Councillor Seamus Green's not here. Councillor Robert Irvine.
For, Chair.
Councillor Eamon Keenan.
I would be against.
Councillor Catherine Kelly.
For.
Councillor Podgeen Kelly. We have Poddy still there. Welcome back, Poddy. Councillor Tommy Maguire. Councillor Emmett McAleer.
No, it's inadequate, so I'm against that.
Councillor Chris McCaffrey.
Aye, for.
Councillor Stephen McCann, for. Councillor John McClaughry.
For.
Councillor Barry Michael Duff.
For.
Thank you, Barry. Councillor Garvin McPhillips.
For, Chair.
Councillor Dunglo Coffey.
Against.
Councillor Thomas O'Reilly.
For.
Councillor Alan Rainey.
For.
Councillor Johnson.
For.
Councillor Chris Smith.
For.
Councillor Bernice Swift.
Against.
Councillor Errol Thompson.
For.
Councillor Howard Thornton.
For.
And Councillor Victor Warrington.
For.
Councillor Bert Wilson.
For.
Thank you, folks. I'll go back here to Anthony Feely. Councillor Feely. Anthony, if you can hear me there, if you can indicate even in the chat function.
Can you hear me now, Steve?
Yes, go ahead, Anthony.
Hello, hi, Steve. I'm finding the whole thing very confusing, and I'm going to say one thing. I'm not against cutting any service in the rural areas. So I'm going
to take a Anthony. Okay.
Abstaining this vote, Steve. Abstaining.
And Councillor Podgeen Kelly, if she's there. Okay, I'll just defer to the Chief Executive just to summarise where we're at in that. And then we're moving on, folks.
Sorry, Chair. I have that 30 for and 6 against and 1 abstention.
Okay, so that motion is carried to note that correspondence. Are we happy enough for that then, guys? Yeah. Okay.